Over the past few months, we've spent hundreds of hours with founders listening to how they are implementing AI into their business, auditing them, sitting with them, understanding every single layer that is going into the two types of people in the world right now. You've got people that are making more money than ever, that have more time, that are playing a bigger game than ever before. And you've got the other side who are stuck, overwhelmed by the complexities that this space can bring. And in this video, we're going to break down the 7 AI mistakes keeping your business stuck. None of these are technical. All of them are avoidable. And every failed implementation traces back to at least 3 of those mistakes. So let's get into it. So the first point I really want you to understand is that they don't actually understand what the technology does for them. And there's a brilliant quote by Henry Ford. He says, "If I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." And the point of this is that there are 2 camps. There are people stuck in the old way of doing things, trying to optimize their business as it currently is. They're trying to do things that essentially is trying to get a horse to go faster, when there is a whole camp over here who are just getting in cars. They're driving Ferraris and they're going 100 times faster than these other businesses, but nobody actually sees it. The reason why is because businesses aren't speaking about how they implement AI publicly. It's a silent thing that businesses are doing to get ahead of the competition. So what we're going to do is break down all of these so you understand fully what is actually going on behind the scenes inside of these businesses. And it's going to stagger you. Some of the information and some of the ways that businesses are using this now will blow your head off, as it was mine. And this whole channel is dedicated to bringing you what's working, what's not, to simplify the whole thing without being a technical nerd, founder to founder. So as we go through this, so there is 2 types of people. There's the fearful founder and the future-proof founder. So the fearful founder right now is optimizing the saddle instead of getting in the car. He thinks AI is a faster version of what they're currently doing. He asks it to write emails, summarize meetings, tidy up spreadsheets, and operates from the same mental model that they had before AI even existed, and wonders why it doesn't feel transformative. And the cost of this is, yes, they may be more productive, but the real levers never really get touched because they're not thinking through the right paradigm of what this technology actually can do for their business. So as we look to the future founder, the future-proof founder, he's asking what is possible now? What is possible now that wasn't possible before? Because he understands AI as a new operating layer, not just a faster tool. Asking what is the entire workflows that can be removed, not just sped up, and thinking in systems and leverage and not in tasks and shortcuts, and reframing every process. Does a human need to touch this? So the shift from horses to cars and the paradigm is unlocked as we begin to move through this lens. Okay, the second thing is watching from the sidelines, waiting while the competition quietly move ahead. And as I said, they're not sprinting past you right now. It isn't obvious. So the people on the sidelines are the ones that are waiting for the world to show them what's available to them, but it isn't coming. It's the businesses that are in the background that are closing the gap, and they're rapidly compounding, and it's just going to take more market share. If you're a service-based business, you've got your clients, you know your processes, you know they work. It's not broken, but it is a different game that people are playing now. So the fearful founder, he waits until it is proven before they move. Reads about AI constantly but implements nothing. Says we'll look at the next quarter every quarter. Believes moving slowly is moving safe. And doesn't notice the gap until it's too late to close. So these 12 months of inaction equals a competitor with a system that will take you 18 months to catch. Because the reality is, the further you get into this, the more you realize how much is more available to you when you begin to see what is possible. And no one's going to teach you this. This is one of those things that you have to be in the trenches with. It does not mean that you have to go download every single Claude Code skill and watch every automation video. It's far from it. But it's you thinking through the lens of being AI first. Because the future-proof founder, what they do is they move before certainty and they learn by doing. You have to be in the trenches, picking something and running with it with a 30-day test, right? You don't need a committee, a consultant, or someone to help you with this. You have to live through this and learn how to implement into your business. You intuitively run your business right now, and that is why your business is at its current level. Okay? Because the reason, or the thing that you need to do, imperfect implementation always beats perfect in action. Understanding the data you gather from trying it is the competitive advantage, and compounding small moves over structural separation from slower competitors. So the real point of this big mistake is like waiting on the sidelines. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take you to adopt it. The longer it takes you to adopt it, you've got these other guys over here who are implementing this. Every single industry over the next few years is going to be AI first. It doesn't matter what industry, even construction, right? The actual construction work is never going to change, but how the founder is generating leads, how he's reallocating capital, how he's managing his finance, how he's using AI intelligence to reduce cost and reduce inefficiencies. What that does is create space in the founder's mind to run better marketing, to close better deals, to do better, smarter deals and systems in their business so that they can go and win bigger businesses and take market share. That's how it's going to implement this. So mistake number 3 is getting into tools without knowing where the business actually is buying solutions before you know the problem is just expensive guessing. So there are so many people online on Instagram that are selling you all these Jarvis, click, where's my business at? All of these fancy things that you're seeing online right now, it's all bullshit. None of it actually serves you unless you truly understand where your business is at. Some business bottlenecks are their lead flow and you need more leads. Some businesses have great leads and you need to fix your operations because you're getting leads, but your ops and your client fulfillment or your customer fulfillment is a mess on the back end. Other people have that dialed in, but the founder is stressed the fuck out and he doesn't know how to see his business and he needs a command center so he can actually see the data. So the job is not to just buy things and fit it in, it's to understand where your business is at and then build based on the bottlenecks. That's the difference between these two things. So the fearful founder will buy tools to solve a feeling, not a problem. Here's AI as a future, feels behind, signs up to 3 tools in an afternoon, has no diagnosis where the business is actually leaking, points tools at symptoms, not causes, and ends up in a graveyard of subscriptions and nothing to show for it. On average, SMEs, 3 to 5K spent on AI tools in 18 months, and ROI for most of it is 0, especially if you have a team. Adoption is massive. There is fear in the marketplace right now, in employees, in staff, and if you are throwing tools at them without really understanding how it helps them to make their job better, it's going to be rejected, it's going to fail. So the future-proof founder, audits first and tools come second. That's always. Runs a 4P audit, which you can get in the link below. If you want to audit your business and do a free audit below, it's completely free. You don't need to put a book in. It's completely free below. Use the link. It will take you through to a quick quiz and it will show you where your bottlenecks are. Okay? We keep it very simple. Pipeline, profit, people, and processes. They're the 4 core areas that we look at. Are you getting more leads? Are you making profit from the people you sell? Are the people leveraging their time and you leveraging your time? And are you actually automating the process that can be automated and not doing manual shit that doesn't need to be done? With that, identify one place that's leaking cash and time. Find the tool or workflow or specific build that solves that problem and measure the ROI before starting to do other things. Okay? Diagnosis before prescription every time. There's a really great quote and it says prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. And what that means is for you as a business owner, you need to diagnose your problem before prescribing the solution. Okay? Mistake number 4 is not focus on the actual business bottleneck, like we spoke about. You can optimize everything except the constraint, and that changes nothing. The constraint is the only thing that matters. You know how to run your business. Whatever level you're at, whether you're at 7 figures, above, you're trying to crack that, you already know how to run your business. Okay? But getting pulled into the marketplace and pulled into dopamine holes of attention-seeking freebies that are never going to use anything is not what you need to be doing. Okay? Fearful founders, this side over here, automating the easy parts without the real blockage stage, right? Using AI to speed up the tasks that aren't the constraint, getting faster at producing proposals that take 2 weeks to get signed. Never asked, what is the one thing slowing everything else down right now? And revenue stays flat because the bottleneck is untouched. basically you stay stuck. You're wasting time. Unless you're fixing that bottleneck with a AI solution, you're just going to stay in the same place. All of these problems are eternal problems. So, but what AI does is it allows you to solve those problems more effectively, quicker, and with different solutions. With the future-proof founder and how he approaches this, they work on the constraint first and point everything at it. What is the one thing, if fixed, will unlock everything else? You need to map the business flow and find out where volume slows and drops. If you don't understand your flow, it's very difficult for you to do that. Mapping out your business process is a real key because you can't automate what you can't see. So understanding that is one of the key parts of it. Puts AI into the bottleneck first, pipeline follow-up, proposal turnouts, onboarding, and then watches throughput to increase the whole business from one targeted fix. If you try and solve everything at once, you don't know where the constraint is and you can't track that data. So that's a really significant part of this. Mistake number 5, you can't automate a process you don't understand. AI doesn't know your business. You do. And if you haven't documented it, neither of you do. Just what we were saying before. Okay? So the fearful founder trying to automate what lives in his head. Business processes exist only in the founder's memory. Can't hand the task to an AI because they've never written it down. There's no SOP, standard operating procedures. AI produces inconsistent and wrong outputs because the vague brief. So you're asking it to do something you don't even know how to do, and then it's not getting a result, and you're guessing why. And then concludes AI can't do it. It's a real issue. The process was never defined. Bad automation of undocumented process is faster chaos, not progress. Put a comment in the chat as well, what you've tried and failed, because it really does help us create more content on this. We can go deeper into this for you. And the future-proof founder documents first, then handles it over. Every step of the process is mapped manually before touching a tool. Finding the gaps, figuring out the inconsistencies, and the decisions will pinpoint on the map. Fix the process first, and then automate the clean version. AI output is consistent because the input is consistent. Again, you can't automate what you can't see. Document it first, and then you will actually be able to make this work. Mistake number 6, using AI at the same level of consciousness that they already operate at. This is an interesting one. So a tool can only think at a level that you think at. So a tool that can think at any level will only think as high as a question as you ask it. Interesting topic. So what I mean by this is that for you, if you're operating as a owner operator stuck in the trenches and you're speaking to it as that version, it will respond out that version of you. If you're speaking through the owner operator who has worked himself out of the business, that runs his business autonomously, he's got AI implementation, he's got the right people in the right roles, he's got consistent lead flow, he's got data that looks at all of his business, and he's operating at a high level. If you ask it to speak to you from that place, it will speak to you back at that place. It is a super intelligence. So understanding how this works, or whatever you give it, it will mirror back at the consciousness level that you're asking it for. This is why having it as a mentor is really powerful. So using AI as a task executor, not a thinking partner. Write an email to this client, summarize this meeting, fix this paragraph, get slightly better output on task they're already doing, but nothing more. And you get slightly faster version of your current thinking, but the ceiling is still the same. So the AI, so the future-proof founder uses AI to operate above their current ceiling. What am I missing in this strategy that a CFO would catch? What is the flaws in this decision? Put it back on me. If you were running this business, what would you do differently? Using it as a board member, a strategist, and a second brain, not a typist, the quality of the output is determined by the quality of the question. Really powerful one, that. And finally, treating it, the chatbot thinking, treating it like a search engine and not a strategic collaborator. Most people type a question and wait for the answer. The best operators have a conversation and they know how to reverse prompt. Okay? So one question, one answer, closes the tab. Types a vague question in, gets a vague answer, conclusion that AI isn't useful, accepts the first output, decides that it's shit, never asks it to go back, and uses it like Google, surface level prompt, surface level output. So the problem with this is that, like you said, or the building off the last point, is that it is only as good as a person using it. It is like any tool that you use in life, and deciding that it doesn't help because of how it's responded to people in the past, is the core mistake. So the future-proof founder, prompts with context and reverse prompts. Okay, so what a reverse prompt is you, and there's a great tool, it's called Wispr Flow. You can download it. I'll put it in the chat so you can put it in the section so you can download it. But it's basically a speech to text app. So rather than you have to write out, you can literally sit there and speak to it and say, hey Claude, you are acting as a 8-figure CEO who has currently cracked pipeline generation for my specific business. You were once here, you're once at the stage where you're making 6 figures a month. You're making once a stage, you're making 7 figures, but your current constraint is that you can't generate leads consistently. You're waiting on referrals, and that you are, you haven't been able to sustainably generate consistent leads. If you were me, give me the best prompt that would give me the best answer, and you would say that, and it would give you the prompt back. And then you would use the prompt, and it will give you such a higher quality of questions and responses because you nail that part. Okay, so again, it's asking questions before answer it, using plan mode, using it to really think through what you're trying to do, and then ask it to give you the answer, because you are dealing with super intelligence. So asking AI to ask you questions, and then watch the output and watching the prompts. Okay, so they are the most common mistakes I've seen after speaking with hundreds of founders now. We've audited businesses, we've spoken, we've done webinars, workshops, and this is what's showing up. None of them are a technology problem. Every single one of them is a thinking problem. The future-proof founder doesn't have better tools. He has a better mental model of what these tools are actually for, and his paradigm of life is completely different. And if you are watching this and you would like to get us to deep dive into your business, so you actually understand what mistakes you're making, where to use AI to get the best bang for your buck and the highest ROI with your specific business right now, in the link below, you can click to apply for a free strategy session. It's with myself or the team. We'll audit your business, we'll map your processes, we'll figure out what's going on, and we'll tell you exactly what you should be doing in your business to start making the money you deserve in this incredible